Hey, it's Nikki with FM99, and I am here with Matt from the band From Ashes to New. How are you doing?
I am good. And you did very well from the band From Ashes to New. I always have to point that out. I know it's a tongue twister. It's a mouthful. So
That's okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. How's life treating you?
it's treating me, you know,
Yeah.
I think that it's probably the same for a lot of people who aren't working right now. I'm stir crazy. I'm just trying to figure out things to do with my life right now because I'm so used to being on the road.
Yeah. So where are you right now?
I'm in Pennsylvania, like an hour and 45 minutes west of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a fun place to be.
Yeah, it's chill. I like it here.
Yeah. Is that where you're from originally?
Yeah. When I was growing up, I said, I'm going to move here. I'm going to move there. I'm going to go to this place. And then when I started touring and I actually started going to all the places, I was like, I'm going to stay where I'm from.
Yeah.
I like it there.
It's funny how that works. I grew up in a really small town up in New England, and I couldn't wait to leave. And now when I go back up to visit, I'm like, why did I want to leave so bad?
Right. I love it here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for short periods of time.
Right. In small doses.
In small doses. That's exactly right. Yeah. So is the rest of the band near you? Are they in Pennsylvania too? Or are you guys kind of?
Our drummer's from about 45 minutes away from me.
Okay.
He's the closest. I don't know where he's at right now, though. I think he's in the area. He travels back and forth between Los Angeles and Pennsylvania quite a bit. And then our singer's from Rochester, New York, and our guitarist is from the Cleveland, Ohio area, like Canton, Ohio, if you know where that's at.
Okay, I do, actually.
Yeah, so we're kind of spread out. We haven't really had the ability to be able to create things as a band together. We do everything remotely right now.
Yeah. You're doing like Zoom calls with all of you and that
Yep.
kind of, yeah.
We're doing the straight up business stuff.
Well, yeah, I know. But it's so funny. Like I don't know about everybody else, but this whole Zoom thing, I didn't know anything about it before.
No.
Now it's like how did we live without Zoom?
Yeah. Management called me like a week into the whole shutdown. They're like, have you heard of Zoom? And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, you need to get your fans on Zoom with you. And it's like, next thing you know, there's DJs doing Zoom DJ parties and stuff. And it's like, wow, this is wild. Is this what life is going to be?
Yeah, really. I know. Yeah.
I'm scared. I hope it's not.
I'm with you completely. I got to tell you, like you, live music, man, I feel like there's a piece of my soul missing right now. And
100%.
Yeah, this is great and everything, but I really want us to be back together in person soon.
Yeah. I grew up very social.
Yeah, me too.
Like couldn't shut me up social.
Yeah.
And now I'm like stuck in my house.
Yeah.
Like I said, trying to figure out stuff to do. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So, and we build a brand new house. So it's like, not like I have projects.
Well,
so I'm trying to figure out life. I'm like, this is me all day, just on my phone, down the rabbit hole. Then I'm steaming mad by the end of the day. And I have to cool down. That's my life right now.
Venting to your dog.
Yes. Oh, he hears a lot.
Yeah. Don't they all? It's a good thing they can't talk. That's kind of how I feel about it.
He'd leave.
Yeah, I know. I think if mine could, he might too. Unless I have bacon, then he doesn't care what I have to say.
Yeah, if I didn't have snacks for him, he'd be gone.
Yeah.
I know that he only loves me for the treats. I've figured that out.
Yeah, I try not to admit that out loud. I think that's most of them, unfortunately.
It is.
Yeah.
I say to my wife, I'm like, you think about like us and money. Like, what if someone was just constantly handing you a little bit of money?
Yeah, every day.
I really like this guy.
Around, yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. I don't mind him. That's the way my dog is with like milk bones.
Absolutely.
Those are 20s to my dog.
I love that. That's hilarious. So you guys were supposed to be here. You were supposed to come with Skillet in June, I think. And then it was postponed. And now, if I'm looking at this correctly, it looks like July 14, 2021, as of right now, is when you'll be here.
It's a moving target. Honestly, you're telling me news.
Oh, well.
I find out a lot through Facebook and just social media. Like fans will be like, "You're doing this," and I'm like, "Oh, I am."
Yeah. Ooh, thanks.
Yeah, everything's a moving target right now. So, like, just nobody's working. So, and everybody that works in the industry is, commission based. Everyone works off commission. So, I haven't met a lot of people that work for free.
Yeah.
So the industry is just like, it's in shambles right now. I mean, everyone knows it. So it's, when something gets changed by a venue or a radio station announces something, I find out via Facebook or Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I'm crossing my fingers that it's a fixed target now. We're going to think positive because I need it in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah. I would imagine. Now, you guys have a new album coming out. We are playing the title track from your album, Panic. It will be released August 28th. I'm really stoked about that.
Yes.
So what, I mean, I don't even want to ask, but I kind of have to, like, not being able to tour around that album. I mean, what's that like? Well, how do you promote it without being able to get in front of us and get on stage and play it?
I feel like I'm starting my career again.
Yeah.
Like, back when we started, it was like, we got to get a tour. Like, we got to go out and we got to play music, and it's like how I feel now. It's like, it's just going back to the attacking through social media and getting your fans to spread the word, and lots of swipe ups on Instagram. And, so it's like, it's really just educate. It's like customer education. It's kind of like, I feel like the ShamWow guy half the time. You know what I mean? Like, I have to educate. Like, I have to tell people, like the Flex Seal guy, like, your boat's not going to sink. And that's kind of how it's been just over the last several months. It's trying to figure out new ways to connect with the fans via social media. And, I know a lot of people are doing like live stream stuff to promote stuff that they're doing. And for us, it's difficult because we're not together.
Right.
And, to bring everybody together and to get everything set up and do everything that we need to do, it's like a budget.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. It becomes a real expense, So it's like, for us, it's just create content remotely and put it out there and try and educate the fans as much as we can to let them know that the album's coming out in August this month, a couple of weeks, actually.
Yeah. 28th.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about it. So
it says it on the screen.
It does say on the screen. There you go. That's how we're going to promote it. We're just going to keep sharing and sharing so that everybody knows that
yes,
August 28th is the date. Well, I'm glad that you guys are still, I feel like a couple bands have decided to not release the album, and that hurts my heart. I'm excited that you guys are still releasing the album, and that we get to play bits of it, which is
I got a good idea. Remember when U2 released that album and everybody on iTunes got it?
Yeah.
And there were people mad about it. They were like, we should administer the From Ashes to New album with the COVID vaccine.
I mean, I think it's brilliant, and I support it. Yes. Yeah. I completely support it. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, see? But thank you for spinning the song, and thanks for talking about the record.
Of course.
That's all we have right now. That's it. So
yeah, it's like going back to basics, kind of.
What's that?
I said it's kind of like going back to basics. I mean, other than, like, Zoom is not.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a staple gun and some flyers and start walking around my neighborhood.
Right, just staple them to the telephone pole throughout.
Letting people know the record's coming out. We got a mixtape dropping.
That's it. We're gonna fax you.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. So tell me, so this is album number 3.
Yes.
For you guys. How is the message behind this new album different from, say, like your first 2 albums?
So we always talk about overcoming adversity and not giving up on yourself and not giving up. I am an advocate for not giving up on your dreams. I feel like everyone can succeed in life if they believe they can succeed. I think that. And I'm not going to get too far off subject, but I will say that I think that a big problem that we're having is that people are led to believe that they can't succeed immediately out the gate. And when you're led to believe that you can't succeed immediately out the gate, you don't try.
Sure.
So, I've always had a strong support system. I'm fortunate enough to have a strong support system behind me and my family that always told me that I could do what I put my mind to doing. So I started applying that. Once I finally realized what they were telling me, it took years because, of course, I battled it, until
No.
in my 20s I battled it.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, what are you talking about? I can't do whatever I want. You know, like that's not how life works. And then, you know, I tried it and I was like, wow, it works. Like you can actually do what you want. So I started writing songs talking about that. Like, hey, you know, like I did it, you can do it. That was kind of what the message has always been with this band and the band name and everything. This record's a little different. Like, you know, we've touched on that quite a bit from the conception of the band till now. And what we decided to do with this record is to take an approach from the other angle, the angle of what it feels like to not feel like you can do what you want to do with your life. And that's kind of the lyrical process. I mean, there's a lot of different things on this record. We've got some I want to say non-political political stuff. Like it touches on you know, trending topics, a few of the songs, but they don't get too political because we don't really want to alienate anybody via politics. But you know, I think there's a lot of different angles that we look at things from, angles that we've never talked about before on this record.
Okay. So kind of like you've covered all the positive aspects and now you're kind of moving to the darker, not so positive aspects, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, when I was growing up and I was listening to music and I was feeling kind of lost before I found out that I could do whatever I wanted, you know, and I was feeling pretty lost, I kind of gravitated towards the songs that talked about how I was feeling. You know, I didn't really, you know, I'll give a good example. Like my parents listened to Christian music, and that's really all I was allowed to listen to when I was a kid until I started rebelling as a teenager and I started listening to gangster rap, which was a nuclear missile to their brain. They couldn't understand what was going on. But what I was getting at is I didn't really, when I was in my teenage and early 20s, like I didn't really, the Christian music didn't resonate with me. Like it's very positive, and that's not a terrible thing. I'm not saying positivity is a terrible thing. It's just, I think as people, we want to hear things that we can relate to. And there's a certain time in life that maybe we get to the point where we can resonate with something that's positive, like a contemporary type of music. But, you know, I think one of the things that makes rock music and rap music and stuff like that so big is that it touches on topics that people are currently going through.
Absolutely. Well, and you know, it's one of those things that, especially I feel like coming through those teen and early 20s years, to be able to hear something, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, they get it. Like they, you know what I mean? Like I'm not alone, you know, I'm not the only one who's feeling like this. I mean, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the takes with this record we're like, you know, we want to go back to the roots of this style. And, you know, we've obviously drawn a ton of comparisons to Linkin Park, and we're okay with that. And the reason we're okay with that is because, you know, I honestly feel like metal and hard rock used to have this undeniable attitude.
Yep.
And when I started getting like breaking into the scene, it was like, you hear all these like stories and people are like, yeah, the parties are wild and we're burning up hotel rooms and we're breaking stuff and everyone, you know what I mean? And like you get there and like I'll give you a short story. We were in an arena playing with we were on tour with Five Finger Death Punch, Papa Roach, and I think it was the Canadian tour, so it would have been 6 a.m. And they gave us a platter of like food, like in our green room. And it wasn't the bands, it was the venue. And that platter of food had sandwich meat on it. And we all know sandwich meat has a shelf life. And this sandwich meat was very slimy. Like if you would have eaten it, probably wouldn't have been a good night, probably wouldn't have been a good rest of the tour.
Right.
That type of scenario. So we decided to take a video of us throwing it against the wall because it was sticking to the wall like it was like cemented. We got in trouble. So it was one of the things where management called us and like we had like, you know, PR calling like, you put this on YouTube or you put this on Facebook, and the venue's all pissed off. And so again, what I'm getting at is like, you can't even do that now. Like, so.
Yeah. Compared to some of the stories from, you know.
Right. So we wanted to take the approach of talking about what people feel. You know, Panic the Single talks about anxiety.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant to go along with what's going on now. It just so happened to go along with what's going on now. And then we wanted to bring back the badass. That's what we wanted to bring back. So
that's awesome. I love that. Let's see. Katrina says, keep doing your thing.
Don't you tell me what to do, Katrina. I'm kidding. I love
Heather,
it.
hey, Matt, good to see you.
What's up, Heather? How you been?
So not everybody's happy to see you. Scott, what bands influenced you? Any rock?
Oh yeah, tons. So, short little story. I was into rap my entire childhood. My sister listened to like rock and metal. She's a little older than me, so I didn't want to be like my sister. I wanted to be like me, So I listened to like gangster rap. Like, one of the first ones I listened to was Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Nice.
So, yeah, and I just listened to them the other day. By the way, it was like yesterday. I'm like, what is this? Why do my parents?
That's what it is.
Yeah. I have a son, and he's like there, and I'm like, I gotta turn this off. What's going on? So I listened to rap, and my buddy, he listened to like Mudvayne and Slipknot and Korn and like all those bands. We were the same age, and I never really got into them. I never really tried to get into them. I just was just like, I listen to rap, dude. I don't want to listen to that. Okay. And then he brought Linkin Park over when Linkin Park came out, and that changed my mind on rock and metal music. Like, they brought me into the rock and metal. But the first band that I actually like really got into was actually Seven Dust. So okay. Yeah, so I went to get Linkin Park, and I ended up leaving with Seven Dust. So I wasn't mad about it. I mean, the Animosity record was incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah, they've got a new album coming out too.
Yep.
I'll tell you, that's one thing that looks like it's going to be a positive spin on this whole thing is we're going to have a boatload of new music.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were sitting on records for this year. We were. We've been sitting on it since the end of 20. What year are we in? Oh yeah, 2020. The terrible.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. I don't know why.
Right. So the year that we're trying to forget. That's why we had to ask.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
But yeah, we finished it in the end of 2019. It really got finished up at the beginning of 2020. And that was before, we were on tour. I mean, at that time. So it was before any of this stuff hit. So we're like, yeah, it's going to be a great year. New album, new tours. Everything's going to be fantastic. Now it's just new album.
Yeah. So you guys were already on when this hit?
Yeah, we actually were on tour with Skillet.
Okay.
And
so the tour was supposed to come through our way.
Yes, that tour. And we went through like all the hot spots, like not knowing that they were all the hot spots.
Sure.
And then it got cut 2 days short, your date being one of them. So
yes.
That was a bummer. We almost made it to the end. We were so close.
Yeah. So I know we're talking moving target, but we do have that date. So are you just going to make up those last few dates, or are you going to make it like part of another tour? Yeah. Yeah.
I literally have no idea what we're doing. Yeah. Like we were talking, we have like some cool stuff that we're going to do with this album cycle. We've got some stuff outside of the record that we did, like cool content, like we already started remixing songs and doing stuff like that. So I was talking to management yesterday, and they're like, yeah, we'll do this and we'll put it out with maybe a holiday tour. And it's like, how do you know that? Like, right. I was like, I get it. You're excited and you're staying optimistic. I was like, but at this point, like, I'm not planning for anything because nobody knows. Like, I guess today they just canceled the college football season.
Yes.
So, or at least Big Ten announced that they wouldn't be part of it. Yeah. So,
but I mean, it doesn't end with Big Ten, I don't think. I think that was just, Anyway, we're staying positive. It's fine. It's going to be fine.
We're trying.
I know. Sports will be back. Live music will be back. Darn it. And at the end of the day, your album will be out.
This has just become so bleak. Like, by the end of this, we're going to be crying. And
I know. Sitting in corners. It's so funny because, it started and everybody's like, oh, all right, I can live in my bubble for a little while. Now everybody's sitting in the corner, rocking back and forth, like just waiting for it to be done.
Yeah. I just got tested for COVID the other day, by the way. And it was awful. That was one of the worst experiences I've ever had.
I've heard they take a chunk out of your brain.
Yeah. Yeah. The nurse is just like, you're going to have some tissues. And I was like, what do I need tissues for? And he's like, well, some people cry. And I'm like, people cry? Like, I'm negative, by the way. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I think once they said some people cry, I would have been like, you know what? I don't really need the test. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, okay. So to touch base on that, the doctor came in and he was like, hey, I think that this is all good. Everything looks good. What we'll do is we'll give you a COVID test to calm your nerves a little. And I looked at him. I was like, I'm not nervous about it. I was like, I honestly really don't care.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, okay, he talks a little bit, and he's like, yeah, some people just get nervous. And I was like, I just told you I'm not nervous. And then he continues on a little bit more. And as he's leaving the room, he's like, okay, I'll get the nurse to bring in that COVID test.
You're like, all right, well, now I'm nervous.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, now I'm nervous. Like, what's in there? Are you putting COVID in my body? Like,
They're
what are
putting
you doing?
in your brain.
Yes. So the nurse comes back in with the COVID test. And I was like, I told the doctor that I don't really need that. And she's like, yeah, but he really wants you to have it. And I'm like, whatever, do it.
You know what? It makes for a great story, though, if nothing else.
Yeah, I called Danny, the singer, and I was like, dude, I'm like in the room, like real quiet. I'm like, dude, this is like the weirdest thing I've ever been. Like, I felt like I was in a Legion episode. It was it was the weirdest thing.
Well, maybe you could write a song about it.
Good.
Let's see. Dave wants to know, and this was actually my next question. How did the WWE 205 theme song come together?
They actually called us.
WWE called you?
Yeah. They were like, hey, we got this idea. I didn't really know what it was because 205 Live wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is cool. Like, as a kid, I really liked it. It was WWF then. I was like, man, I really love WWF. This could be cool. So it was really all kind of put together for us. Like, it wasn't anything. It was like, I think when they sent it over, like, we changed like 4 or 5 things, and it was like the shortest song we've ever done.
Yeah.
We did it all in like one day, and it was really the easiest thing we've ever done as a band.
How cool is that, though? I mean,
it's pretty cool. A lot of this stuff is like, I don't even know what to think about it anymore. I think that it really comes way of manifestation. Like, you really like focus on certain things, and they become like, for example, touring with Breaking Benjamin. Like, everyone would ask when we first started this, who do you want to tour with? And the answer was always Breaking Benjamin, but they weren't a band at that time because they had gone through the breakup and everything.
Yep.
So it was like, yeah, I grew up loving Breaking Benjamin. It would be fantastic to tour with them. Unfortunately, they're not a band. And then they come back, and 1 year after them being back as a band, we're on tour with them. So
cool.
Yeah. So it's the same thing with the WWE thing. It's like, when you hear bands have done cool things for these types of like sporting events or programs or things like that, like, you automatically start thinking like, it would be really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah. Like, what could we do?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that is awesome. I appreciate you talking to us so much. I am super, super stoked about your album Panic. August 28th is when it's going to be out, and stay safe out there, man.
You stay safe in there.
Yeah, we hope to see you guys soon. Hopefully July. We're just going to hold on to that date. Put it on your calendar in blood so it doesn't change.
Blood?
Well, I mean, it's not permanent.
Well, I don't have COVID, so it wouldn't be like I was spreading.
It's fine.
Yeah, see? Silver linings to everything.
That's it. I'm holding on to it with both hands.
Thanks for having me, though. Seriously.
Absolutely. You've been awesome. I appreciate it.
See ya.
All right. See you soon.